Hello everyone, welcome back. Here in this video, I'm showing an example of what we talked about last time related to the arithmetic versus geometric average. So in the example that we, well, in the video earlier, we talked about if you were to look at the the leverage ETFs, you actually are impacted by this mu minus half sigma square term here. So I'm here showing an example. So if you invest $100 to begin with in the index, and then use the same $100, you can buy the 3 times ETF. Now, suppose I put in here some very large market returns, very large fluctuations. And if we invest in the index, you actually, after this period, you actually end up having 10% return, okay? Now, however, if you invest in the 3 times ETF, you actually end up losing most of the value of your investment. So you can trace that. So in the first one, you made a lot of money. So 30% return on the index, then you have like 90% return. So your value have gone up to $190. Now there's a relative mild change, which is minus 20%. Now here right away you see that you are for the index, you still have got a gain because you have dropped down to 104, but it's still plus for you. You still made $4. If you notice here, the average return here, you will actually over 2 period will show you 5%. Okay. And however, if you have really leveraged 3 times ETF, you actually drop to $76 and below what you have started with $100. And the reason is that, on average, if you look at it, you actually have an average positive, right? But this 20% drop, although it's a smaller number than 30, is on a much bigger number. It's on 190. So here is on 130, drop 20%, but here is on minus 20% on 190. So it's a much bigger number here. So you drop to 76. Then you got some large gains here. So you moved up 40%. So in this case here, you have recovered to $131. But if you were to invest in the high leverage ETFs here, you do get back to more than 100, but not as much. The reason is, although you have a 40% gain, that 40% is applied to a much smaller number here. It's applied to 50%. So, over the period, it's gone back to just a very mild 10% gain for the index. But you can see if you invest in the other one, you lost like 80% of the value. And the reason for that is because of this mu minus half sigma squared. The larger the sigma you have, the larger this expected drop you will have over time. So in that case, I have 3 times the 3 times leverage ETF and on compound on a very volatile market. So here this sigma is a high sigma for the market, and then the ETF was 3 times more, 3 times higher than a high market volatility. That's why the impact is very dramatic. I'm not expecting that in a normal situation in the market we'll have something like that, but it's certainly a factor to consider. So the example I have, I use very extreme numbers to demonstrate the case. Okay, so I will see you in the next video.